Good morning, everybody. It's TONIK TZW, and I'm here with the Tier 7 Hipper, the German cruiser, because I'm grinding to the Rhone, and I've set a new personal best in this ship of 175,000 victory chips. And I've called this video Two Ways to Play, because it's going to demonstrate two different ways in the same game in which we can play this ship, and it does work out very nicely indeed for me. Now we're going to have a quick look at the build of the ship, and there are main builds out there, but mine is pretty standard, and we are running aiming systems mod 1 to give us reduced dispersion. We're running steering gears mod 2 to give us some reduced rudder shift time, concealment system mod 1 to increase the dispersion, reduce our detectability range, and main battery mod 3 to reduce our reload time. I'm running Carl von Muller, who's at 15.3, and we've got inspirations of Francesco Mimbelli for reduced reload time, and we've got Isoroku Yamamoto there for AP pen multiplier. And our build is beyond range with 10% main battery range. We've got igniter for 3% fire chance. We've got punch through for AP damage and AP pen. We've got fixated for grouping and reduced dispersion, and we've got refill station for main battery reload time. So let's get into this game. What I will say is there's a great website called Wow's Builds, and on there and on a lot of the CC's channels, you'll see them running very agile cruisers, and you'll see a lot of those very agile cruisers in game. They run sort of full rudder shift. They're running the engine mod, and it's they are great. You can sail around, you can twist and turn, you can get your shells off, but you're trading other things off for having that maneuverability. Now, I've got this, as I said, it's a pretty standard build, so I haven't got the most amazing agility. I perhaps haven't got the best reload, but the way I'm going to play this ship to start is to move around at the back of the map and try to keep ships in range, because I don't have a fast turret traverse. The further I am away from that cap, then the less I have to turn my ships or my turrets to cover a much wider area. If I was much closer into the cap, I'd have to turn the ship a lot more, and I'd have to have a much faster turret traverse to be able to cover the area that I'm going to do for the first half of this game. So although it does look like I'm at the back of the map and running away from things, I'm not. I'm using the way I have this ship set up to my advantage. Now you can see I've got at least 3 targets in range. I've already lit some fires. We're going to get onto that Amagi, and you see there, he gets a shot at us, but we've turned out and away from him. He is broadside to me, and he is reversing out. So I am going to get some shots onto him while my turrets turn. I'm moving away, staying skinny, because I know that there are 2 battleships out there as well, and a lot of the other red team are still unsighted. So we drop out of range there. We start a turn. We've dropped detection, so I feel safer making this turn now. And what I'm going to do is come back around, put the turrets back onto where these targets are. We've got fires ticking already, and we are going to get some more fires ticking as well. Now, unfortunately, there's only one destroyer in this game. Our destroyer is right there in the center of the map. He hasn't pushed the cap. That Iowa out there at the bottom of A cap is going to do nothing but cry for intelligence data the whole game. But we are going to look and rotate through these targets and try to get fires onto them. Now, as I said, the reason I haven't pushed that cap is because I'm not agile enough and my turrets don't turn quick enough to be able to respond to threats from different directions. But we get another fire on that Amagi. He hasn't got the same thought processes as me, and he is pushing into that cap. But in doing so, he has put himself into a flanking fire, both from the two destroyers off to the left side of the screen, who are unsurprisingly parked behind an island, but also to the ship on the right side of the screen, who is being very brave and pushing out. And, you know, he does a good job pushing out there. Amagi is fired again and then disappears off the map to the Flander, so that cap, it isn't secure for blue team, but it also isn't secure for red team. Across on A cap, red team have had a ship push all the way through, but I think we do have an Ochakov out there, and he looks to be in a very good spot. There's a couple of other ships parked behind each other there as well, and they're going to get fire onto that guy, and basically they've made it untenable for him to try and stay in and take that capture point, even though he does have support from his team. We've carried out a turn again, and again what we did is we kited away, we put the shots out there, we had the fires on the ships, we've moved away, dropped detection, and now we're going to reposition and move in again and look to repeat the process. Red team's Ochakov is out there. He's going to load on that Flander out on the flank. I think it's the Flander out on the flank. But we see the Nagato, and we're going to close down that range and give us enough time within range of those guys to get some more shots out there and to get some more fire onto them. Now I am enjoying my morning coffee, but as we see, C-Cap starts to turn, and that means that there is a destroyer out here. But we have the Alabama spotted. We put some shots onto him. We are now spotted by the destroyer, so we're going to have to be a little bit more careful. We get a fire on the Alabama, we put shots out to the Nagato. Alabama's ticking, he's pushing in behind the island, and now we're going to turn away again and make ourselves as small a target as possible. And we're going to keep that turn, and we're going to start kiting away from the cap again. Alabama has damage conned, and although he is behind that hill, we can put some fire onto him. We can't push in and contest this cap against the destroyer because there are still too many big ships out there that can take massive chunks off us, and the aim of the game is, you know, survivability. We want to play for the win, and the longer we are alive and the longer we are doing damage to the red team, we will give ourselves an advantage. We've dropped detection, which to me means that that destroyer has moved behind cover, and that's likely to be the island that's just off my bow at the moment, but exactly where he is, I don't know. We have the Alabama spotted still, and we're just going to keep blind firing across the top of that hill in the hope that we land another fire. We are 7 minutes into the game, and run 76,000 damage, which isn't even half of what we're going to finish with. We're going to add about another 100,000 damage to that as we play through. Alabama is burning again. We're still blind firing across the top. Every little helps. I get spotted. So something, and there it is, has got me spotted. That Mars has pushed through thinking he's going to come through and torpedo. Now he either slammed on the brakes there or he ran straight into those rocks. And this is the one place where I'm going to make a mistake in my play, because I'm going to slam on the brakes so that I don't overrun and move into open water and end up broadside to all those ships as I run into clear water. In slowing down, it gives me the opportunity to take out the destroyer while everybody else wants to shoot at him. But we took our eyes off those two ships across there, and the Alabama gives us a very good slap on the backside. You know, sitting duck We stopped moving around. We gave him the opportunity to take a shot at us, and he takes that opportunity and lands. What did he take off us? I think he took about 18,000 off us, which was a decent chunk of our hit point pool. But the Richelieu is doing what French battleships do, and he's just reversing. But we do get another fire on the Alabama. We switch fire across the Richelieu. He's pretty much on maximum range, so we're going to start backing up again. And this is the second phase of this battle for me. We've done the moving, shooting, maneuvering, reposition. Now we have ships spotted that are just about in range, and red team are being pushed across to this flank. So ideally I want to have myself some cover where I can get some shots onto these guys and continue to do damage. There's an Algerie there, the Richelieu's there. I can't remember what cruiser that is, if it's a Shores or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But the Alabama is still out there as well. And as I said, I didn't want to really push that cap on my own without knowing that I had full support. One of those battleships that was sat at the back has pushed into that cap, while his buddy that he was with has pushed out to the right flank where the Flanders is. And so he's put himself in a position where he is able to be focused by the entirety of red team that are on this side of the map. We do have a lead. We potentially didn't need to have that cap at this moment in time. Witherer pops up, High Caliber pops up at 136,000. We have a fire on the Richelieu, it's still ticking. We get the Alabama spotted again. And so rather than keep pounding on the Richelieu, we'll leave those fires ticking. We'll switch across to this Alabama, who, you know, by now is probably kind of wishing that he'd put asbestos underpants on, because we're going to keep lighting him up as fast as we can. The battleship that pushed into the middle in the cap is dead. Bad move. Alabama is on fire again. Now we don't have eyes on. We know we've got an Ochikov out there, we know we've got a battleship out there, and they are pushing through. Again, they're going to become the focus. The battleship is bow on to the Alabama, but with two cruisers still running around out there, he could be the focus of attention. Now, I think it's the Ochikov that's out on ACAP. If he had pushed a little bit closer, perhaps this battleship would have survived, but that Alabama is going to give him what for. We are going to do what we can and try, and there we go, it's an Algerie. There's the Algerie. Now watch this shot. We can see that he's going into a turn. We don't know exactly where he's going to end up, but we lead those shots by quite a long way. We're not expecting to hit something, but in doing so, putting those shots out there, we're potentially forcing him into another turn for the two battleships off on our right side. But we land a shot and we land a fire, and we go back onto the Alabama. Now we are spotted, so we're trying to work out exactly where that Alabama is going to end up and put the shots where he's going to be rather than where he's at. Algerie is still out there at a distance. We put one salvo across to him, and I think what we're on something like a 5-second reload, which isn't too bad, and that gives us the ability to rotate through these targets. Shuts out at the Alabama again. You can see very floaty, hang in the air for a very long time. We land them, we don't get a fire, perhaps he's damage controlled, but we land these shots. We get another salvo off. That battleship is going to disappear. We land two fires on the Alabama, which are immediately put out. So I don't know how many damage controls he had or what build he was running, but I was expecting those two fires to tick through and take him out of the game, to give me what would only be my second kill of the game. We're only on one. It's not a lot, but that one was the destroyer. There are 3 ships left in the game. We've got a minute 40 on the clock. We are, what, 75 points up? It's 4 ships plays 3. We've got 2 caps each. So this game is by no means won yet. So I am now going to turn. I've got my guns locked across to the right side, and I'm going to push into this cap now. And I believe the Ochikov is going to push into the north cap, and that is going to stop these capture points ticking for red team. The Algerie gets taken out of the game, so a maneuverable cruiser there with a lot of high explosive too, but he was stuck in absolutely open water. The Megami is out there, he's barely got anything left on him. We know that the Alabama has run around, and I think the Alabama is basically heading for a cap because, oh no, it's a Zara there, not an Ochikov. The Alabama did not want to be on the receiving end of any more fires, I don't think. But as the clock ticks down, we start moving into these caps. The Alabama is the last ship left. He's unsighted. He knows that he can't win this game alone. And we are going to let this clock tick down and give us the win. Our guns are where we expect the Alabama to appear if he sails round and comes through to the rear of that Zara. There isn't enough time to take the capture points, but we have given ourselves that points advantage by stopping them ticking for red team. So there we go, 174,000 damage. We get 20 fires for 162 landed shots, which is 1 every 8, which is literally 1 per salvo. 2766 base XP, 700 above second place, and 1,000 above third place on the team. So we certainly had our work cut out for us. So I hope you've enjoyed watching the Hipper with 2 ways to play. Please do hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do. And until next time, take care and goodbye.